Today we will be covering important steps required to prepare an F-16 jet engine for test. As a reminder, this how-to video should be used for reference use only. Always use your technical data when performing maintenance on an engine. Let's get started.
Our first step is to transfer the engine from the hardback to the test mount adapters. While rolling the engine back, ensure to move slowly to avoid causing damage to both the engine and the transfer gear. After connecting the transfer gear to the engine, slowly transfer the weight to facilitate removal of the hardback mounts. Remove the thrust pins completely from the hardback. Now you can disconnect the forward mount link. Make sure that you secure it so that it does not swing down and cause damage to the engine. Slide the hardback forward to make room for the test mount adapters. After that, slide the test mounts forward to align with the front frame and the turbine frame. Using the transfer gear, you will need to adjust the height of the engine as necessary to allow for the installation of the thrust pins. Also, using the adjustment wheel, you must align the forward mount with the front frame. Once that is completed, you are ready to roll the engine onto the 4000 trailer. Be sure to push on the test mount adapters while doing this. Tighten and torque the test mount adapters prior to disconnecting and removing the 4000 trailer from the 3000 trailer. Once this has been completed, you can remove the 3000 trailer from the hush house. Prior to dressing the engine, install the sway link by installing the outboard link first. This will prevent the sway link from contacting the augment or fuel line. To dress the engine, install the bleed air covers. Then install the starter jaw adapter. And finally, the vibration pickups. All installation procedures must be complied with as directed by the technical data. Pump the engine up to the height of the test stand using the 4000 trailer, ensuring that the engine remains level. Once you have reached the proper height, you can push the trailer to the test stand. To align the trailer with the test stand, use the adjustment knobs on the left side of the 4000 trailer. At this point, you should be able to install the quick release pins. Now you may roll the engine onto the test stand. At this time, you must install the tie rod assemblies to the rear test mount adapter. After that, you can tighten and torque the test mount adapter to the test stand. Remove hydraulic pressure from the trailer as necessary to disconnect it from the test stand. Once disconnected, remove the trailer from the hush house. Then, arm your breakaway switch using safety wire. Now it is time to install the bell mouth. Tilt the air starter down prior to moving the bell mouth into position against the engine. Verify a proper seal around the entire circumference of the bell mouth. The aft flange of the bell mouth needs to be a specific distance from the front surface of the anti-ice manifold on the front frame. Ensure you check the proper technical guidance for specific measurements. The last step of the bell mouth installation is hooking up the electrical connectors. You are now ready to install the vibration leads on the previously installed pickups. These leads should be installed hand tight. After that, remove the CDP cap and install the airline. Make sure you torque to the appropriate specifications. Now you may connect the W1 harness. Verify the colored band on the receptacle is not visible after tightening the electrical connector. Prior to installing the main fuel inlet line, ensure that there is not residual 1010 oil in the test cell fuel system. Once this has been verified, you may remove the fuel plug from the boost pump elbow. Use care while installing the line so you do not damage the preformed packing. Once the line is installed, ensure that the cap on the aft side of the tube is tight. Your next step will be installation of the electronic cooling lines. You can now prepare the throttle box for installation onto the test stand rail. Align the shaft of the throttle box to the throttle shaft on the mech. Keep in mind, you do not tighten the nuts until the throttle connection has been installed. Also, it is very important to remove the nylon strap that is securing the mech to cut off. Position the throttle on the mech to the military power setting using the throttle rig pin to verify. Physically show the person in the run cab that you have removed the rig pin. The throttle in the run cab can now be moved to the military power setting. This will move the shaft on the throttle box. Now that the engine and the cab have been synced at military power, you may install the throttle connection. Using the rig pin, verify once again that the mech is still set to military power. Install and torque the 4 throttle connection screws. You may now tighten and torque the nuts securing the throttle box to the rail. You must now cycle through the power settings to verify the rig pin is able to be installed into the mech. Showing the pin to the person in the run cab will let him know that it is safe to move the throttle. After the throttle rig has been verified, it is time to engage the starter. When you press the Engage Start Gear button, You must verify that the engage indicator light is illuminated. You must also physically verify engagement of the starter. You are now ready to prep the hush house to test the engine. Perform a walk around of the entire hush house to ensure that there are no FOD hazards present. Prior to installing the starter air supply hose, you must run air through the hose to clear any debris that would damage the starter. Inspect all tie-down points on the test stand for proper installation and security before moving any further. Once this inspection is complete, we are almost ready to run the engine. Now, close the main hush house doors and make sure that both personnel doors are unblocked and unobstructed. We are now at the final step before testing can begin. Clear the bay of all equipment that cannot be secured. This will protect the engine, equipment, and personnel from damage or injury. At this point, qualified personnel will operate the engine from the test cab while communicating with ground personnel in the hush house bay as they test the operation of the engine. Thank you for joining us on this engine run preparation how-to video. Hopefully these steps have helped you become more familiar with the process.